What's going on YouTube? It's Teach back again with another video, and today I'm giving you the first of what will be 32 team previews before the 2021 NFL season. New series I've kind of pitched in a couple of videos, and I'm excited to get this underway. So I'm going to go team by team. I'm going to go division by division, starting with the AFC East and going alphabetical order based off team location. So Buffalo is the first team. We will talk about it. Hopefully you all enjoyed today's video. If you do, please hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel and want more sports content like this in your life, please consider subscribing. And tell me what you think the Bills, expectations should be for this upcoming season. Where do you think their win range and maybe some award winners they might have, and what games you're looking forward to, their X factors, everything you see on the screen now, basically. Tell me what you think about it down in the comment section. I respond to every comment, so I'd love to have a respectful, fruitful conversation with you. Without further ado, I'm going to make these videos pretty quick. So, win range, I have a hard time seeing the Bills losing less than or winning less than 10 games. I think they're a double-digit team. They have a really deep roster, plenty of star-studded cast members as well. And then you can see from my projection, I'm on the high end. 14 wins is probably a little high. If you go back to my 2021 season prediction going game by game, I had them winning a couple of games, the one against the Chiefs and one against the Titans. I think I had them winning both those games. You'll see at the bottom of the screen. So, I'm admittedly a little high on the Buffalo Bills, and a large part of that is because I'm a big Josh Allen believer. So, at the bottom of the screen, I almost, instead of games to watch, put awards watch, people around the organization who might win awards. Let me know if you want me to add that somewhere, but not every team's going to have award winners, but in my eyes, Josh Allen, a serious MVP candidate. Sean McDermott could easily win Coach of the Year. Brian Daboll could easily win Assistant Coach of the Year. He did a fantastic job, especially last year, getting Allen to take that step forward. So this is a team in a prime position to win the AFC. And, the reach goal, what I mean by that is, if you went to college or applied to colleges or anything like that, you had your realistic, expectations. Like, I think I can get into this school, feel pretty comfortable about that. Then you have your Harvards, your Yales, your Howard, all these Ivy League schools, and maybe Stanford out west. Schools that maybe you don't fit their criteria to a T, but it's worth taking a shot at. So, reach goal here for the Bills, stroll to their first Super Bowl in team history, which almost assuredly is not going to happen. They're going to have the Chiefs in their way. Tennessee's looking really, really good as well. That's why they're a part of those games to watch down at the bottom of the screen. But, I think a realistic goal is for this team to make it to the Super Bowl and win the AFC. I think they really can do that. Obviously, I know it's tough to top Kansas City, but if there's a QB who can go throw to throw with them, just ridiculous nature, tossing it down the field, Josh Allen is among those guys who can do it. And then you add Stephon Diggs into the mix. If they can have a reliable, consistent run game, that's going to be a big question mark. Maybe I should have put Zach Moss here in the X factors, but really it comes down to the offensive line creating running lanes. Regardless, if this team can consistently run the football, that makes them a formidable foe with Kansas City. And overall, I just really like this team. I like the direction Sean McDermott's taking. I like the direction Billy Beane is taking this team. I like where this team is at, no doubt about it. And then for X factors, You'll notice a trend here. A lot of them on the defensive line. Ed Oliver going into year 3. Look, he was such a freak athlete when he was drafted. It was pretty well known that it was going to take a couple of years for him to really break out onto the scene. And I think here in year 3 is when he makes that leap, specifically against the run. He is, per PFF, one of the worst run blocking or defenders against the run at the defensive tackle position. So he definitely needs to improve in that area. So I think he will. And additionally, I think he could become a D tackle that gets in the neighborhood of 10 sacks, which is not something you see a whole lot of. You have your Aaron Donalds, your Chris Joneses, DeForest Buckners of the world, and that's kind of about it. I mean, there might be a few other names I'm forgetting off the top of my head, but you seldomly see interior rushers in that 10-sack conversation like you do edge rushers. So I think Ed Oliver has that potential. He has a freak athletic ability for sure. And now, going into year 3, you trust that he's been coached up. He's done the work himself to be able to take that leap forward. And then likewise, AJ Epineza going into year 2. And then I thought about Greg Rousseau, but he is more of a project than someone like Boogie Basham. But Epineza's going to year 2. He was a raw player, and now he's had a year under his belt. It's time to see what the Bills were able to do during his rookie season. Is he ready to take over as a replacement to Mario Addison, an aging Jerry Hughes, who still is productive, but you got to find an answer long term. And I think Boogie Basham, like I said, is a more instant impact player than someone like Gregory Rousseau. So if Boogie Basham and AJ Epineza can create a formidable duo, at least be third and long, pass rush situational guys, then they check in for old guys like Jerry Hughes and Mario Addison. Or you know what? AJ Epineza has a ton of inside versatility, kind of like Greg Rousseau, so maybe they'll use Rousseau in the spot. But In a 3rd and 10 passing situation, maybe you have Addison Hughes on the outside, Ed Oliver, pass rush specialist, and, either Epineza, who's a big body guy, or Rousseau as interior pass rushers. And I'm kind of intrigued by that idea. So Epineza gives you some versatility in where you line him up. And then Boogie Basham, if he can be an instant impact guy, especially considering how lackluster this past year's edge class was. And it's not that it's bad, it's just a lot of question marks. If Boogie Basham puts together a 10-sack year, I have a hard time thinking he's not one of the front runners for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Of course, it's leaning on a lot of asterisks. Can he get to 10 sacks? I don't know. I think he's going to be more of a rotational guy, but there is a pathway for him to potentially come away with that award, though it is a narrow pathway at that. And then our last X factor is Emmanuel Sanders, Gabriel Davis. A lot because John Brown, and you look at the splits from last year when he was on the field versus off, the Bills' offense was significantly more efficient with John Brown playing, and it's almost the Deshaun Jackson factor where having that speedy downfield threat just opens up so much for the rest of the team. And specifically in that middle of the field where, Stephon Diggs has a ton of success. Not that Diggs doesn't have success everywhere, but, he can make a lot of work done in the middle of the field. And then Emmanuel Sanders is fantastic in that 10-19 over the middle of the field, parts of the field. But he also has the speed still, which is crazy. And he is a good enough deep route runner to get open. And Gabriel Davis is a downfield specialist. That's what you bring him in, and that's his role. Get open down the field, make big-time plays, give us those 40-yard catches, 50-yard catches. That's what we need you to do on this team. So if those two players can combine and bring the efficiency that this team had last year when it had John Brown playing, I mean, this offense is as good as it gets. And I'm saying that knowing that Kansas City plays in the same conference. This team really can go blow for blow with KC, which is crazy. Part of that's because Kansas City is down to Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and a bunch of question marks thereafter. But nonetheless, this Bills offense is crazy. And, you get some consistent pass rush from Ed Oliver, AJ Epineza, Boogie Basham, Greg Rousseau maybe. I mean, this is a scary good defense, too. They've just kind of been lacking guys who can finish plays, come away with sacks. If Ed Oliver takes that third-year leap, Epineza proves to be a significant factor in his year, too. If Boogie Basham can be an immediate impact rotation guy, I think that defense really gets good, and that boosted pass rush hides the weaknesses that they might have on the outside of Tre'Davious White. Like, is Levi Wallace really a number 2 corner? A lot of people's eyes, they'd say no. I'm a little higher on him, but regardless of what you think about him, you improve the pass rush, he will matter less inherently. And we'll round out this video talking about some games to watch back-to-back, Week 5, Week 6, 2 games on the road, might I add. This will really show what this team is like. We already know it's tough to play in Buffalo, right? Like Bills Mafia, they go crazy, they go ham, right? But away from Buffalo, how does this team play? And oftentimes, the age-old adage is defense travels. I need to see this offense hit the road too, especially against the Tennessee Titans, who last year, defensively speaking, weren't very good. You figure that they're going to be a little better this year. They spent money on Bud Dupree, they draft Caleb Farley, they bring in Janoris Jenkins, draft Elijah Molden, all these things. You figure their defense can be better, but still, Sunday Night Football, primetime game, I want to see that team and that offense specifically hit the road and go toe-to-toe with an offense that figures to be one of the best in football with Tannehill, Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, even Anthony Firkser for that matter, I suppose, and a good offensive line too. And then the next week, they're staying on the road going against Kansas City, and the Titans and Chiefs might be the top 2 dogs in the AFC conference. I mean, you got Cleveland, you have Buffalo in the mix too, but in some people's eyes, it's the Chiefs and the Titans. Not saying that's my opinion, but in some people's eyes, that's the case. So, a couple of tough road tests back-to-back weeks, and if they can come away with one of those wins, keep in mind, both on primetime. SNF is Sunday Night Football, MNF is Monday Night Football. If they come away with one of those 2 primetime games, I think they have a clear path to 13-ish wins on the year. 12 to 14. I feel comfortable saying that if they get one of those 2 wins. So, a couple of big games going against offensive powerhouses. But both teams, I think that the Bills offense can pick on the opposing defense in. And the last one, anytime you play Tampa Bay, I'm going to probably put it here in the games to watch section because you're taking on the reigning champs. Of course, that's a game to circle on the calendar. And again, it's a road game. This time they're staying, pretty close to home. All these games are, mid-America or East Coast, so that bodes well. I'd like to see this team potentially go out to LA. I wish that was on the schedule or something like that, but anytime you're taking on the defending champs, it's a game to watch. Not prime time, but at 4 o'clock slot on CBS will certainly have my eyes tuned into that contest. I'm excited to see Josh Allen take on Tom Brady mano-a-mano, or as close as it gets in the game of football. But that's going to do it for this video. Hopefully you all enjoyed. If you did, please hit that like button. It would help me out a ton. And if you're new to the channel, want more sports content in your life, please consider subscribing and comment your thoughts on everything on your screen right now when it comes to the Buffalo Bills. What do you think their win range is? What should their realistic goal be? X factors, games to watch, everything. I want to hear your thoughts. And also, if you want to tell me your favorite team and some of these factors, I'd love to have that conversation a little early before I get to their respective video. But that's going to do it for the video. Hopefully you all have a fantastic rest of your day. And until next time, my name is Tej, and I'm signing off.